quick. I was waiting for the video to play. Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? Hope everybody's doing okay today. I've got some sad news. I'll get into that here in a little bit. Just a quick disclaimer: Lynn is traveling. She just made it to San Diego, and she's trying to eat dinner. So just forgive her as she takes a bite of that really great burrito she's got. But other than that, Lynn, how was your trip out to San Diego?
It was great. So I think we got to the airport like 6 a.m. Eastern time, and we got here 11:30 Pacific time.
Oh, okay,
So
that wasn't too bad.
now I'm just like jet lagged, all kinds of things. Yeah, it was a pretty long flight, but it was a straight shot. So on Breeze, they have nonstop flights now. Like my husband flew in from Norfolk, and it's a nonstop flight from Norfolk to San Diego, and then they had a nonstop flight from Jacksonville to San Diego.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it was really nice, and we sat on their business plus class, so it's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
first class. So we like
Still
just had
pretty
to.
nice though.
It was nice. So um,
Yeah, when I fly out June 19th, of course, I'm coming out for the Emmys on June 22nd.
mhm.
Um, the price of the ticket to fly Lufthansa from here on Business Plus, basically what you were talking about,
Yeah.
was cheaper than flying economy preferred on United. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so I think it was only like $400 per ticket, which is like a normal price,
Hmm.
for a regular economy seat in any other airline. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. So
Just about
Breeze,
like it.
sponsor me.
Yeah, nice. Well, glad you made it safely. Glad you didn't have no heartache. Before we jump into everything, I just want to say we got the QR code up there on the left-hand screen for Reach Across America. You can click on that. You can donate to Reach Across America. They put the wreaths on the veterans' gravesite during the holiday season. Super great program. I'm super happy to be part of them because the other part of that is my podcast gets streamed on their radio show on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. You just download your favorite app, whether it's TuneIn app, iHeartRadio app, or Odyssey app. Search for Reach Across America, and you can not only see my program, but all the great programming they have on there. And I'm super happy to be a part of them. But with that, I apologize. I am a little tired today. I've not had a really great last 48 hours. My older brother's wife finally lost her battle with cancer, passed away early this morning. So I was able to say my final goodbyes to her about 2:30 this morning, my time. So it's just been a sad day all around. Along with that, I want to give condolences out to Chris, our producer, whose grandmother passed away also. So it's just been one of those weeks. It's just sometimes a lot of stuff comes at you at once, and you just got to kind of deal with it. But hey, I'm a little sad today. I've been trying to keep busy. Um, they're not taking flowers for a funeral. I thought that was kind of cool. My brother decided to set up a foundation for a scholarship, and so I'm going to provide that link if anybody would like to donate to it. Um, don't ignore Lynn eating. Ignore Lynn eating. Just dip out of the photo for a second, Lynn, then come back, and then you can jump in. But hey, there's a link there for Giselle. She fought breast cancer 2 different times. The second time it came back and it was in her bones. But the amount of things that she's gone through for the last 5 years is she's a pretty amazing, incredible woman. It's just sad that she was taken away, not only from my family, but also from my brother, who's now a widower. But that is the link to her foundation. We'll be donating to it later today also. So if you can, $5, $10, whatever, but it will help a child go to school with that scholarship. So with that, if you watched the last podcast, Lynn on Memorial Day weekend was out camping. Had a little incident go on, and go back to watch a podcast, get full details of that. But Lynn, I know you attended a funeral, but if you wouldn't mind kind of update everybody, because we got a lot of feedback from last week's show, and then with the triggers of the PTSD and everything going on, and I kind of like to continue that conversation later on. But give us a quick, how are you doing? Because I know it's a traumatic event for you. And then how is everybody else doing that was part of, helping to save those people after the shooting?
So I just want to say my condolences to you, Cliff, and your family for the loss of your sister-in-law, and condolences to Chris. our producer, the loss of his grandma, which she lived till 98, and he says very long
Mhm.
life and was a good woman. But either way, it's tough to lose somebody, right?
It is.
So Saturday was Cody Stewart's funeral, and
I
so
bet that was tough.
yeah, there was he actually had a really good turnout, like for the wife, like support system. So there was a lot of people there. The people from my camp, Cynthia Guzman, which is a Marine, she came by from
Mhm.
she drove from Tampa.
Oh,
And then
wow.
Stacy Shanks and Geraldine Shanks, they drove from Fort Walton Beach. And then yeah, and then Robinson came from Jacksonville, and he's a Marine. And so did Dan Zadiker, and he's a Marine as well. And they were all part of the camp, and we were there in support of Amber and her two children. Um, the Cody was a great guy. He was setting an example for his entire community and like for his people. They were breaking generational curses. Like he got out of the hood, was doing good for himself, being the best father he could be the best husband he could be the best friend he could be, and like everyone had nothing but great things to say. And Amber's message through her eulogy was really powerful because she was telling all their friends and family in attendance to get your life right. Like
Yeah.
that's what Cody would have wanted, is to get your life right, because he was like showing and living his life through example, through leadership. And so it's just unfortunate that we lost somebody who is a leader like that in their own community. But I hope that they heard Amber's message loud and clear. She literally said, stop going to prison, stop doing your drugs, stop doing all this dumb stuff, and get your life right.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else needs to hear that here, but I'm sure that there's people who need to hear that too out
Yeah,
in.
yeah, and drugs can be defined as prescription drugs or illegal drugs, and
Yeah,
if things aren't going the way it is, make a change. I know with
yeah,
Giselle, she would want everybody to go on with their life and be happy and live the best life that they can, because that's what she did.
mhm,
Especially the last 5 years, and so it's just important to do that. But it's sad that stupidity took a good person away, and just
yeah.
30 seconds completely change even those children's lives for the rest of their life.
Everybody's life. The children, I was really like felt for the children. I was thinking about them. His son, probably about nine
Yeah.
or
So
10,
my
I
son's
would
age,
say.
Lloyd's age.
And he was just so distraught, bawling his eyes out, had his dad's watch in his hand.
Mm,
And like, he couldn't like keep it together. And I just wanted to hold that baby boy
yeah.
so much. And, the his daughter, she was about 14, 15. She's super strong keeping it together, and so is Amber.
Yeah.
And they're just such a strong, tough family. And I'm glad that they have a huge support system. And I gave a couple of gifts. So I gave a couple gifts to the kids, where it was a keychain where it said dad in the middle with a wing, angel wing, and it said, I used to be his angel, now he's mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then a couple of like journals. They're like leatherback journals, and it's printed on there. It says "Letters to Dad in Heaven." So, whenever they want to tell dad stories, or if they want to share something with their dad, they could just write it down.
That's a really great idea, and what a great thoughtful gift to give those children, to
Yeah,
something to think about, journaling and writing, because
mhm,
that is important. I think that will help them, and
yeah.
kudos for you to having the thoughts
Definitely
to
good
do
for
that.
therapy, like writing down your
Yeah.
thoughts and things like that. So hopefully they use it. And, I know that, I mean, it's going to take a long time. It never really gets easier. It
No.
never gets easier. It just becomes a familiar feeling,
Yeah.
because I lost my mother when in 2016. So it there's still days where I cry out in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, and then there's still days where I'm like, I wish I had my mom, like I could talk to my mom. And so it never gets easier. You just learn how to
No.
cope with it.
Yeah. And I had a hard time too last night, because obviously my brother gave set the phone next to Giselle. Of course, she's in the last hours of her life, and so she's not coherent. Of course, I'm telling her what I want to tell her, But just the sound of her breathing reminded me of my father because he died of cancer too,
Mhm.
a brain tumor. And that just, just like you said, just a flood of memories. And then, of course, my father was a big gamer. And so, like, Destiny just went through an update, a new final shape come out today. And every time I knew, because we played Destiny together, my father and I, and all of his kids, we all played together with him. And so it's just a little bit sad with each new version comes out because I knew my dad would how much he would love to be playing it.
Yeah.
And so, but I plan to go back to Missouri. I'll spend time with my brother. I'll give him time to kind of. We had this conversation before last summer before I came out here. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. Obviously, but they knew that
Matter
I
of
couldn't
time.
come back for their funeral and stuff. But I told Chris that I would make it back at some point. But I did invite him to come out to Italy for extended. He's retired for an extended period of time when he feels ready. And I thought we could run around and just have some fun in Italy, just give him a change of environment. And sometimes, when you're going through really bad things, this kind of leads into what I've been talking about this week with triggers. We've had a lot of triggers. We just talk about a lot of triggers right now. But sometimes just changing your environment or changing what you're doing can help with the triggers. I know I didn't do a mental health break today. I apologize for that. Just mentally, I couldn't do it. So I just took a mental break myself today. But the other day, the mental health break was, if you're triggered and things just can't, change, go be a 9-year-old kid again and go to the mall and ride go-karts around and just have fun and laugh.
You're right.
Do
Right.
something different to change your way of thinking. And with you giving those children the journal so they have the ability to journal is so important because even as adults, that's something I had to learn to do. And I use EarKick, the app EarKick, because you can journal in it. And it's easy app to use. Children can use it, adults can use it. But the little AI panda there now you can have conversations with. And it was when I started to be actively journaling that I started to realize and understand my triggers a little bit better. I've been to Italy too long. I'll start talking with my hands now.
Just like that.
I just noticed that I move my hands a lot. But it is. Hey, Alison, how you doing?
Allison.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses on, but so it's just important to look at different. I've been posting this week about how ways to deal with triggers,
Hmm.
to understand what a trigger is and how it makes you feel with maybe all of a sudden you get a nervousness inside, or a little bit of anxiety going on, or maybe your hands start sweating, or maybe you start getting a little paranoid, and maybe you don't understand why. It could just come out of the blue for no reason. And so you just have to understand that when that happens, it's perfectly normal, and it's okay. And I think for a lot of people, they don't understand what's going on. So I just feel like that if you write down a little bit to understand what things trigger you, I just think it will help you when you go through an event. Uh, Lynn, are you still there? You're freezing up some.
Yeah, I'm still here.
You were like you were break dancing or something. You were doing this.
Oh, I don't know. It could be the connection here. I mean,
Eh,
it's
eh,
California.
eh,
It's weird over here. So
yeah, it happens. But Lynn, you had a traumatic event the other week, and I'm sure you've had some triggers. What kinds of things do you do to help with your triggers, or what suggestion would you give?
So just
Um,
the kind of person that I am, I just reach out to my friends and I
yeah,
just try to keep busy all the time. And so just keeping busy, making sure that I have activities to do just to keep my mind off of things like that. Because after that incident, um I haven't had night terrors in a while. And
mm,
then so when I came home that Monday night, I did have a night terror. And
okay,
yeah, so I started getting the PTSD triggers, and like I'm doing all kinds of things to make myself busy, but I didn't realize that it really did affect me that much. Obviously, it's very traumatic, and then I was actually on the news also. They interviewed a couple of us. They interviewed me solo, and then some other people from the camp solo about it, but I just try to keep busy, try to stay positive, just looking on the bright side of things. I'm still here, I'm still breathing, checking up on my friends, checking up on other people, so making sure everyone else is good also helps me.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of things that I do. I know we bought a 2008 Renault Traffic nine-passenger van. Mechanically, it's fine, but inside, they just get passed around. You know how it is overseas military. They all buy cars, and then when somebody PCSs, they buy it. And we bought two of our cars that way. And the van we bought from our neighbor, they get ready to go to Singapore, and it was just really dirty. I posted videos about it. You can go on and see them either on my TikTok or Instagram. Because my theory is you don't have to have a lot of money to have nice stuff, and you can YouTube anything nowadays. You can fix it, and so like they had put duct tape on the dash, and the sun had dried it real bad, and I sanded it off and made it look like new again. It just took about an hour or hour and a half to get it done, and so but. It's funny because my neighbors kept coming out. They're like, you can do my car next or whatever. They were just teasing me, and they're like, "You're really good at detailing cars," and I tell them it's my therapy.
Yeah.
If all my cars are clean, I'm going to find somebody's car to go and clean because I can't work on my Mustang here. I don't have my garage here, and so like you were saying, I have to do something to keep me busy. We live in an apartment. I clean the apartment in 1 hour. It doesn't take that long. It's a finite amount of space. So having the car in here, it's like tonight I went outside and I was touch up painting the frame underneath the seats because I could see rust spots, and so I was sanding and touching them up tonight before the show. But it's just like you said, it's so important to find something to do to get you out of always thinking about that, that thinking trap
Right.
of constantly reliving things over. You got to break that.
That's kind of like a good segue to the hikes, right?
Yeah.
So get yourself out of isolations. You go to a hike, and then the only bad part, not really bad, but the thing about after doing an irreverent warrior hike is having the post hike blues.
Oh yeah.
So you're missing that camaraderie and stuff. But Cliff, you just did your first IW hike.
I did. I did the what was it Memorial Day weekend. We went
Yeah.
up to Trieste, Italy. It's about a 7.5 hour train ride. I did my first River Warrior. I forgot to ask Chris if he uploaded the photos. If he didn't, that's fine. But yeah, it was great. And it wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't like your event where you have hundreds of people, but there were 31 people there.
There were pretty solid
And
people there.
yeah,
I knew most people that attended the hike.
oh yeah, they all knew you, and they're like, oh, so because I had on my T-shirt, my mental health warrior, like, oh, so you did a podcast with Lynn,
Yeah.
and then they visiting with them, and no wait, I had this shirt on. I had to quit being a
Oh,
trade
yeah,
shirt
yeah,
on.
yeah.
That's right. And anyway, so yeah, the nice married couple. I tried to get some of them to come on the podcast, but a lot of them were doing the hike in Normandy,
Normandy hike.
France. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
oh
look,
yeah,
I
there's
took
some
photos.
photos. Yeah, so that was great. It was a lot of fun. For never. First of all, I never would have done it had you not been talking about a Reverend Warrior, Lynn.
Yeah.
But it's just exactly what you say it is. It's a group of people that get together, and they may not be talking a lot when it starts, but by the
Hmm.
end, you're all best friends, and you think you've known each other forever.
Right.
And the person that ran it, that did it, he did a great job. And what was nice is we left, we started hiking, and then we went to this tower that kind of oversees the bay there.
Yeah.
And he got his permission to go up to the top of it. And
Oh, that's
then
cool.
he got permission. This is a Italian naval station, to fly a drone. And so he got
Wow.
the permission to fly the drone up and go up at the top. It was the stairway of hell to get up to the top. I mean, he just
Wow.
kept going around and around and around and around. And they finally make it to the top. And they had the drone coming up and taking pictures. And I don't know if they've made the video yet or not of it, but it was a lot of fun. And then we come down out of that. And then he had set up to have lunch at a local restaurant. He had got sponsors from Italian businesses. But what
Hmm.
was the most interesting is we're walking with the American flag and the Italian flag. Just regular Italian people were pulling up, taking pictures, walking on the street. They'd stop us and ask questions. What are you doing? What's going on? And it was a lot of fun, and everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
They didn't drink a whole lot.
That's good.
Well, I think it's just because we hiked, a little bit over 10 miles.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
Yes.
far.
And there was one time we went up a hill that was like this. I mean, literally, it was like
Oh,
this.
wow.
Yeah, for about 200 yards. It was pretty. But
Did you
after
have
that, we took a break.
did you have a
That
good
was when we
time?
went up the tower. Huh? I did
How,
have a good time. See, I'm
how,
smiling about
how
it.
does your body feel after doing like a 10-mile hike or run?
I felt fine. Now, there
Mhm.
were some people who they thought most people in this hike were in pretty good shape.
Mhm.
But they did schedule a lot of breaks. But there were some people at the end after we sat down for lunch for 2 hours because Italian lunch isn't fast.
Right.
When we got back up, because we had to walk another probably maybe 3 kilometers, not quite 2 miles, to the castle that were at. Was actually after World War II, American soldiers were stationed in this castle,
Mhm.
and there's a plaque up there commemorating it. They had a hard time starting to walk after that because they'd sit down, the legs got stiff.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
for me, I was fine. I mean, I run three 5Ks a week or more, and
Yeah.
for me, it didn't bother me too much. But there were some, and so I gave them some helpful tips to help
That's
them.
great.
But then after that, we started here. We started here, and then we're going to end here. And they're like, "Well, how are we getting back?" We thought we were all going to ride the bus. He knew that the ferry stopped there after the castle, and so we all got on the ferry and went right back, ferried back over to where we started.
Oh, that's
And so
good.
so he did an amazing job
Yeah.
just setting this up, and the rest breaks and the water breaks and everything. What a lot of work, and so
A
much
lot.
went
It's a
into
lot
it.
of planning. And he was
Hmm.
one of two, I think, but he's the lead
Yeah,
coordinator. It's a lot of work.
yeah.
A
He
lot
was.
of work.
That's
So
what he said. He said there's a lot more than what he thought, because I think this was his first one that he
it
did.
was his very
Uh,
first one.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he did a
And
great job. I mean, and I told him, I said, you could have stopped at the tower, because that was
yeah.
about halfway. So that was about, maybe 5 miles, 5.5 miles. He could have stopped there and it would have been a great hike. He could have stopped there. We could have had lunch
Mhm.
there, and everybody would have been happy. But I mean, it
His
just,
name is Kurt, right? Kurt.
Kurt, yeah,
Hmm.
Kurt. And it just kept getting better and better. But,
That's
it's interesting because, of course, you're talking with some people that were still active duty, of course, some retired.
yeah.
And I talked to a young kid in the Navy. We had conversations about stuff, and he was looking for a way to get some of these younger soldiers out of the barracks that are hanging in the barracks too much. And I gave me some tips and ideas about that because he says, when I was younger, I almost got kicked out of the military because I was hanging out in the barracks too much and not getting out and doing stuff. And we know there's USO trips, we know there's MWR trips, we know all that, but sometimes those trips do not people don't like going on them. There's boss
No.
trips, there's all kinds of things, but they're just. I think the people that are doing it don't really understand what kind of the younger generation wants to do sometimes. I think, and so what he was trying to do is figure out things to do that would get the kids out of the barracks. He's starting to become an NCO, and I just thought that was great to see that because
It's
as well
awesome.
as I do, Lynn,
Mhm.
mentorship in the military has went out the window, sadly, and I think it just helps a lot. And just like you said, I don't want the same soldier to or sailor
Go through what he went through or
what he went through, and he said it
stuff.
was ridiculous. He said I
Mhm.
wasn't going out; I was just hanging out in the barracks, and a guy didn't with the wrong crowd, and it almost cost me my military career. And I said
Mhm.
I don't want to have people go through the same thing, and I get that it's no different.
That's
But
good
back to
that
the
you're
hike,
trying and aware about that. So,
yeah.
um, Allison says there is a bonding that happens on IW hikes that doesn't happen on USO or MWR trips.
That's very very true.
Yeah. So
And
again, the hikes are not for awareness because everyone knows that 22 veterans, unfortunately
or
commit
more.
suicide
They
a
said the
day.
number was down to 19 the
So
last
it's
report
not
I saw.
it's not awareness, it's to prevent. So it's a
Yeah.
prevention, suicide prevention. And so getting everyone together using that humor and camaraderie that we only have. right?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true.
construction
Yeah.
people too, but
Yeah. Yeah. Or policemen or firemen, they kind of got that warped sense of
Uh,
humor
but
too.
we get our military together, and definitely it's an unconventional way to improve our mental health and like to feel
Hmm.
much better and have that bonding. And I'm glad that young NCO reached out to you for that advice, that he's aware about that. So that just goes to show that there are good people in the military, that not everyone's toxic, and that
Yeah.
people do want others to succeed.
And I told him, I said, well, we used to have, like payday activities, when I first joined, because we used to have to go and report for pay when I first joined. And so they'd always have payday activities. And so as a unit, we would always do stuff. And then as a section sergeant, so I was telling him, I knew everything about everybody in my section. That's just how it was. And the sad thing is the military has gotten to the point where if something happens, the first thing they're going to do is come to you as a leader and say, what did you do wrong?
Hmm.
I didn't do anything wrong. I did everything I was supposed to. So people become reactionary, and they try to always protect themselves. And by doing that, they never truly get to know the people they're leading. And this is a problem. And I saw this when I was in the military. And so we need to kind of go back to when I first joined, when we had mentorships and we weren't afraid of that. And I said, that's how you get to know the people inside your unit. That's how you get to know if somebody's having issues or problems, if they're having financial issues, married problems. You know that during those activities when you're together. And that's kind of what he was getting at. And that's what happens to Reagan Warrior. I mean, you don't have to be in the military to have issues. But,
Right.
people talked about everything.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know that well as I do. How many have you been to? 80,
Have been a
90?
lot. So that's what a lot of people think. Oh, I'm going to get to do these veteran things, and all we're going to talk about is the military, this, that, and the third. And really, it's everything but. You talk
Yeah.
about anything under the sun, and you talk about your entire life. But it's just that bonding and that camaraderie. You already know you have that military background, so there's no need to actually talk about that.
Yeah.
Like there might be like a short conversation. Like, oh, what were you in? Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And then
That's
that's it.
normal.
That's that,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
everything else, it just flows.
Yeah.
So
It does. And like I said, it was, and it's interesting because you always had, this well, I do. You have the kind of people that are really shy when they first start out. They don't say a whole lot. And usually by the first break, they're like talking to everybody,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So that's why I don't know if they did that in Italy hike, but most hikes we do like there's a green wristband and there's a red wristband. So the green wristband are for the newbies, like first timers. And so like a lot of us OGs seek out these newbies and talk to them and make sure that they feel included. So
Yeah, I was an effing new guy. I think mine was yellow.
yeah, I mean, it just
It's
every
just
hike
some
does a
band,
different
yeah.
color. So, you didn't get a shirt though, did you?
No, they had a mishap with the printing of the
Oh,
shirts.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to get something that was selling stuff, but I didn't because I figured all the people that travel from the United States over, I'll just let them buy all the stuff because I could get a hold of Kurt and say, hey, give me some. But they did pass out. He was able to get the coffee cups made, so I got 2 coffee
Oh,
cups on the
cool.
hike. And
So
it's cool cut because him and his girlfriend walked through and took pictures of the places we hiked.
that's really
And then
cool.
he had these made to hand out after the hike. So that was the tower that we climbed up in. Yeah.
So I don't see the comments on our live stream, but on my side, Monica says, "I love IW, Len Clark, and Cliff Bauman, and VTT." We love you too, Monica.
Yeah, we love you. We love everybody. Well, because I'm on my social media, so I guess I wouldn't. I don't. I'm not on the main one. And
Yeah.
Chris always gets on me because when I go on to restream our platform to do the podcast, I never go into the right link. I always go in the wrong link.
Hey, I'm not the IT person here.
Yeah, no. Yes, I got Bull here. Bull's always a part of the show now. He's slowly becoming our mascot. Bull was triggered earlier in the week. If you watched my mental health break, and he was a little pissed off at the hatchlings who are here behind my
Mhm.
computer. I got the 2 hatchlings.
Oh
So
gosh.
I walked in the office and they were fighting. So I
Mhm.
had to break them up.
You said the bull had the mental health break
He
the
did.
other
He was
day.
triggered.
He
Yeah,
was
he was
triggered.
triggered.
Aw.
Yeah. So we had to go step out in the hallway and have a talk, and then we went outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun. It makes it a little bit different. Lloyd and I have started a YouTube page together. He's always wanted to YouTube, and so I've been posting some videos on that. And I'm waiting for him to get a little bit more videos uploaded, and then once he's made some more videos, then I'll share the link to everybody. You guys go out there and like and watch his YouTube. He makes some pretty good. He made it. This video's out there. He made a video of. He's 9 years old of talking about how it was funny. So these two friends got in a fight, the boys. The one boy stabbed the other boy in the stomach, and then he was in the hospital for a year. Lloyd, I don't know how he come up with this, but when he got out of the hospital, they were best friends. They were friends again, right? But then the second part of the story was these two girls got in a fight, and they're not friends anymore. And so
That's so funny how he's so aware about that.
Yeah, and so the videos. I mean, the video is funny. It's
sure.
about a couple of minutes long, but I'm like at 9 years old because guys are like that. They can get in a fight and be over.
Yeah,
it
and they get over it, and then they're friends again. It's just so weird how y'all do that. I don't know.
But women, they can hold a grudge for years,
forever.
Yeah. Why is that? I don't know why that is. Why is that?
I don't know. I can forgive, but I will not forget. And the triggers, see, like the triggers. And this is one thing I want to say about triggers, and everyone has a trigger. Everyone, like I've said before, everyone has some sort of trauma. When a person gets triggered, it's really hard for them to not project that onto other people. Like, okay, you got triggered. How is that my issue or my deal, right? Like, I'm sorry that you got triggered, but now all of a sudden you're going to go out and like scream and shout into the void or at other people because you're triggered?
Yeah.
Come on, get it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to, it's hard to get it together like that, but it takes a lot of self-awareness not to project that on other people.
One thing I talked with my brother tonight, of course, the last couple of weeks have been very stressful as Giselle's health decline. I'm sure there were, things said or some stuff said, because it was emotional. And I said, now it's over with and now it's just time to forgive and forget and just know that those things were happening at a very high emotional time. And I think sometimes, people hold on to that grudge, like you were saying, on something they shouldn't, because anytime there's a death or a traumatic event or something, I mean, people are going to be over emotional. It's going to happen. Were you going to sneeze? Bless you.
No, no. My family just walked in.
Oh,
come say hi.
Hi, family. Hey, what's up? How you doing? That's the hubby, right?
Yeah, that's the husband. This is the daughter. So they just
hey,
walked in from where they came from. So.
Oh. You didn't get to eat either. But hey, we'll go ahead and get this wrapped up. I just want to let you have any final words, and I'll close this out, and then you go ahead and jump off and say to your family. I'll do all the closing stuff if you want to jump off and finish your dinner.
That's okay. Well, I just want to say, when it comes to your traumas and triggers, make sure you reach out. Make sure you reach out to your people, find your tribe, or find something to keep you busy. Find an irreverent warrior hike close to you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a believer in that now.
Talking to somebody, journaling. It's so important. It's so important.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Lynn. You have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the time with your family. But hey, listen up, people. See you later. Thanks for tuning in. As you can see, Reads Across America replays my podcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find, like I said at the beginning of the show. You just download your favorite app, whether it's a TuneIn app, Odyssey app, or iHeartRadio app, and search for Reads Across America Radio for all the great programming. I think they have like 50 podcasts now or 50 different shows, maybe 30 or 50. I don't remember the exact number. But I'm super proud to be a part of that. But also up in that corner there, you see Reads Across America. You can scan that QR code, and from that you can donate Reads as little as $5. They do go to Arlington Cemetery, And then also earlier in the podcast, when I talked about my brother's wife who unfortunately lost her battle with cancer early this morning, he has set up a foundation for her for scholarships for children going to school. And I thought that was just very important. And what a great way to remember her name. That link's provided. You be sure to go out to VeteranTrashTalk.com where you can get all of our great merch. I'm wearing the Quit Beating the Trigger Pansy shirt. It's one of our best-selling shirts, and and all the great codes. And hey, if you get too triggered, just get you a Bull. Hang out with Bull, and Bull will help you out a lot. He's my buddy now. But hey, my book, Mental Health Warrior, is still available. So you can go out to my website, you can order it. You can go out to Amplify, Amazon, or wherever you get your books from. I am an Emmy nominee, so I might have to raise the price of the book. No, actually, I may drop the price of the book.
You gotta put that plug in.
That's right. Now I have to. I don't really win the trophy, right? Because the people who filmed it win it, but I'm a warrant officer, so we're good at acquiring things. So the trophy may get acquired on the way out the door.
Yeah.
People like Vladimir Putin when he stole the Kraft Super Bowl ring from the Patriots years ago, and he never gave it back.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. But hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. You have a great week, and please remember we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So let's check on each other. And if you are feeling a little bit triggered or something coming up, Lynn had some great ideas where you go journaling or just get up and go do something different. Lloyd's last day of school was today, so guess what we're doing tomorrow? If you watched my video the other day, I was in a go-kart. They have an awesome indoor go-kart track here at a mall, and we're going to go there tomorrow. I'm going to take the same 4 boys with me, and we're going to go ride go-karts tomorrow, and it'll be a lot of fun. But everybody have a great week and enjoy each other and take care.
Aloha.